Greetings, we're blurbing. I got a Keychron something or other here. A whole bunch of stuff actually sent to me from Keychron. They got in touch a while back and just said, hey, we've seen you mention some of our crap before. Would you like some more of our crap we just came out with? And I'm like, yeah, sure. As long as there's no strings attached and it's not like a not sponsored thing. They're not paying for this. They're not looking at the video before I put it up. They're not telling me what to say. I just was like, yeah, sure. I'll take a mechanical keyboard if y'all want to send one. So here it is. I don't even know what it is. Other than the fact that it apparently is sort of a modular thing, which is nice. Ah, yeah, the Q1. Yeah. Okay, now I remember why I said yes to this. So, open source customizable keyboard for peak productivity, I suppose. So yeah, I've been using this thing here, the GMMK Pro, for a while, and it's very nice. I enjoy it a lot, and I like this whole, whatever it is, I don't know, 75% or something layout. And it has the knob here. I kind of determined that I don't ever use the knob, but I do like all the things being right there and like a print screen or something over on that corner. However, this seems to be their version of it, so to speak. And I've had a number of Keychrons that I've bought, the K8 and the K something else. Gosh, I don't even know, what is it? Oh yeah, the C1. I've used this for a while as well on one of my computers, and I quite enjoy it, but I've never really liked the fact that it's just like, it's so lightweight and plasticky. It's, you know, it's cheap. That's one reason I got it. But it's a nice board. It's just not necessarily premium or anything. It's just, you know, a fun little thing. I like the size, and I like the keycaps that Keychron used. I don't know. It seemed interesting that they were doing this so where you could just make your own swappable key mechanisms and all that. Gasket mounting, screw-in stabilizers, CNC aluminum body instead of that cheap plastic. Great. Sound absorbing foam. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of stuff that is really similar to this and other similar boards. Obviously, they're similar. Let's just put it together, see what it's like. This has got red switches. I'm not usually one for linear switches. I don't. Yeah, like what did they include? I don't know. These are browns. I usually put like blues or navies, all sorts of different things. Like I put in the GMMK Pro, I have a mixture of kale, pink, and navies. Yeah. Don't bend your pins. I will be curious to see what it's like in terms of customizing the keys. Like, does it use QMK? Does it have their own software? I'm assuming maybe their own software. Okay. Well, this is already put together with some stuff. Interesting. Oh, man, this thing feels substantial. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, there's a little LGR. Well, that's neat. Like I said, I had no idea what to expect here. Okay. Man. That's... Oh, dude. Ooh. Those are linear. Those are reds. All right, so... They included some browns as well if I want a little more tactility. Ooh, that feels... I might just keep it like that. I don't have any... Well, I do have a couple of boards with reds, but I never use them because the actual frame of the board itself wasn't necessarily what I liked. This, on the other hand, being the metal and like... Yeah. A little bit of echo. Not much. I don't know. That's interesting. There's a little reverberation. It'd be nice if I could put like an actual key there, which I'm sure you can. That just seems to be like a cap. I mean, that's cool. I like that they did that. Kind of need to have a badge there, but I'd rather have usable keys. Okay, so yeah, I got some additional keycaps here. There's the switches it's using. These are Keychron branded, which makes sense. That's how it was with my others from Keychron. So yeah, totally linear switch, no tactility at all, which is fine. Like, I use just linear boards on occasion. Typically for my work though, I like clicks, just a little bump, a little click in there, which is why this one I have a mixture of Keychron blues, Kale navies around some of here, and then with that other one I just went with pinks from Kale navies all around here, because I like different things at different pressures and resistances and stuff. For like space, I like a heavy space. That's not quite as heavy as I'd like, but you know, like I said, we can just swap it out, because that's the whole point of this. I'm trying to find like a key puller. I mean, I have one over there. I would assume it would come with one, maybe not. Here's like some extra screws and bumpers and little thingies. And there's a cable. Just a USB. Okay, so it's like USB-C to USB-A. And I got the classic, like, I don't know, the trendy, whatever. It's not really classic, it's just the current trend of having this detachable part that goes into the keyboard itself and just kind of lays on the desk. I'm not huge into that, honestly, but there we go. Yeah, nice double shot keycaps. Feels like ABS, which I think all the other Keychrons use that I have. And then, yeah, getting the switches out of there is just as easy as that. Nice and swappable. So yeah, I will keep the reds in there for now. At least on some of these, probably gonna switch to spacebar. And just kind of curious what we got going on here. Ooh, how very brown. Oh yeah, these look nice. Also by Keychron. Yeah, got a slight bump there. It's still not as clicky as I like, but I'm willing to give them a shot. Maybe swap some of the keys for that. But yeah, I've been going for these more lately. The Kale Navy box switches. Clicky, pretty heavy actuation and all that. I like that for the spacebar and some of these other modifier keys, arrow keys. I don't know, I have another bag somewhere, but so these are JM43 and they have JM49. Don't know what the difference is. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Kind of minty green highlights in certain keys. Yeah, the legends have a nice green and gray going on. Oh, that's nice. I like that a lot. There we go. So yeah, I like putting print screen here and then swapping some of those around. Like, I ended up really liking this layout for the right hand side. So insert, delete, home, and end. And I liked the knob, but I never used it because I can't customize it the way that I want to. I thought there would be more that you could do with that because, yeah, like you can customize the shortcut key, but not this, like the rotation. At least not yet. Last time I checked anyway in the software that it came with. It just didn't let me remap. Yeah, I wanted to remap that instead of just doing volume. Let's see if I can get this LGR logo out of there. Yeah, I don't want to damage it. I'll probably end up just swapping out all the keycaps because I really like that set of them right there with the green highlights. Oh man, of course I haven't even taken a look at the second set. Okay, this is much like this one here. I think this is the same set that I have on the C1. Yeah, the Boulder Legends. It's very close to like a Model M classic keyboard style, whereas these are towards the top and centered. I mean, that's fine, but you know, it's not as bold of a typeface. Minor things. The red is slightly different as well. I kind of like the muted red on this. I don't know. I'll probably just swap it out a few times. And thank goodness that is not completely recessed down in there, so I should be able to plug in my dang USB 3 cable. With the C1, it was like recessed way down in there, and I like chewed it apart trying to get it cabled in there because they had the USB-C cables have this big thick thing on the end of it. And I even tried one with a slimmer end piece and it still didn't work, or still didn't fit, so I had to like carve it out a little bit. Obviously, it was plastic. I'm gonna Mac and Windows switch. This is obviously set for Mac at the moment. I'm gonna be plugging it into a PC. Anyway, Okay, feel a little bit silly. So, you know, I couldn't find a key puller or any other things. I was just like, what's going on? Well, if you like take this apart, okay, yeah, there they are. They're at the bottom. So you got a little screwdriver there, just a Phillips head, a little Allen key, and yeah, a couple of keycap pullers. Or really, this is more of a keycap puller here, and then this is what you can use to easily get the switches out, or whatever. I got my own tools, so let's swap some stuff. So yeah, try as I might with different tools, I could not get that off of there. It's really on there, that logo, whatever that plate is. It's like metal, I think. So I figured I'd just take it apart and film it, because why not? So it's got these little hex head screws that it uses, which is fine. And the metal top of that just comes off of there. That's why I couldn't get the logo off. It is straight up screwed on. That plate is just right there. So there is another area there for the switches, or I can put another key, which I'm going to put insert there. And then, yeah, the board itself. There we go. All sorts of nice padding everywhere. Got a little flappy PCB for the button on back to switch between Mac and Windows modes. And yeah, it actually says version 1.0 of that. This is Keychron's first QMK keyboard. So yeah, that answers that. It does use QMK and also VIA or VIA, which I'm going to be trying that because I don't have any experience with that. And it looks pretty easy to use for configuring the keys and changing around the layout and all that stuff. But yeah, nice solid heavy base with the foam in there. All right, so that is looking pretty fantastic in my opinion. I like the mintiness of it. So yeah, I've got a selection of different keycaps, mostly the browns around for the modifiers. Got some of those kale navies for those clicky ones that I like there. Kind of feel like these should be a little clickier, but maybe I'll swap them later. And I went with the escape key that was already on there instead of this one. I don't know. That's kind of like the more muted red there. Yeah. All right. Well, I usually test these things out for a week or so. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Of course, get everything reconfigured in the software so I can map these keys to what I need them to be. But yeah. See you in about a week. All right. Well, it has been precisely 1 week as of today. I just edited all the footage together that you saw earlier and realized I sounded kind of like a moron. Sorry about that. This is not a very proper review. That's not what I do on this channel. I don't script it. I don't really do any research. I didn't even really know exactly how this keyboard was going to be configured or what it was going to come with when they said they were going to send it. So anyway, all those things aside, I like this keyboard a lot. Been using it for a week and I'm going to continue using it for the weeks going forward, at least until something better comes along. And yeah, I mean, reason for that is because it's just a very solid little 75% board, especially for the price. Little things that I wish I could change and a few things I will change. But yeah, I think it's $169 for the way this one's configured. And that's the same price as a bare bones GMMK Pro that I got a while back and really liked. Of course, for that price, you don't get switches or keycaps on that one. And as close as this gets to that for this price, it doesn't have the knob, but like I said, I never use a knob because I have like knobs over there for my speakers and stuff. So I don't care if there's a knob on the board. I just thought it looked cool. So as for the things that I will be changing, the first will be these Gateron, whatever, switches. Like all of them, I'm gonna get rid of all of them. And I'm gonna go back to Kale's, at least for now, the Kale box ones. Like I've got the nice clicky heavy navies on those. And then I've also got a bunch of pinks, the Kale box pinks over there. I'm probably going to put for these others. I don't know, maybe I'll switch to something else just to try something else. I like trying different switches all the time. But something in that range, something that's clicky and a little heavier, because I'm making mistakes all the time with linear switches. I always do. And even these tactile browns, they feel okay, but they don't feel great either. They feel kind of mushy or a little scratchy or sandy or something. It doesn't do it for me. I've never really liked any that I've used. And I guess these are Gateron Phantoms. They're translucent, but they have a colored shell. You probably saw those. I mean, you did see it earlier. So the red ones have a red shell, the brown ones have a brown shell, which actually affects the RGB color that comes through. Like, I don't know how much of it you can see, but there's sort of just a red. Like, I have the LED set to green right now just because to show this off, and it still shines through as red mostly because these are red switches, and then these brown ones just make the green darker, whereas the Kale box ones I have clear switches on those, and it just shines through whatever the actual RGB color is. So if you care about RGB and you want the colors to come through, then I think it's kind of silly to have the key switches affect the color of the lights underneath. Why would you do that? So yeah, I'm gonna swap all those out for some keys that I prefer. I mean, they're fine keys, I guess, if you like linear, slightly tactile. I just kind of don't. Not for my everyday thing. If this was some computer I was using once a week, maybe it'd be all right, but I use this for work every single day at this desk. It's just not gonna do it. That's not the fault of the board, that's just the switches that it came with. One thing that is the fault of the board, I don't like the way this cluster is set up. I kind of wish they were just moved down a little bit. I like insert to line up with backspace and delete to line up with backslash, and then home and end below that, which I have function, home and end, to do page up and page down. That's, you know, my preferred with these, and it's just not. Like, obviously there's room, you could move these things down, and then like I added a fifth key up there. Like, anyway, it's not like that. Kind of wish it was. That's another thing I do like though, is the remapping. I've been using that via software. Never used that before. I was really happy with it. It's a heck of a lot better than whatever the glorious software was. I didn't like that. It's straightforward. You just click on what you want to change, click what you want to change it to, and it's done. It saves it, adds it to that layer. It's just there. It remembers it. You don't have to start up a program every single time you start your computer, and you know, it was very, very easy. And then I guess one of the last things that I don't really like, it's not a huge deal because I'm not religious about this, but there's like a ping. I notice it more and more and more as I'm using this. It's just like, yeah, you hear that? Especially when I'm pressing these navies down. Not so much with the reds and the browns. Those are kind of lighter, more linear or whatever. They just kind of go down. But I don't know about you, but I can hear it. Kind of bothers me when I'm typing up a storm. I was looking it up, and apparently that's like one of the first things a lot of people do with this board is they just put like another layer of whatever you put back there. So let me give me a sheet of that or something and just kind of stuff it in there. No, does any of that make it a bad board? Nope. It's just some things I've noticed. And I've also noticed that, of course, it doesn't have any indicators for num lock, caps lock, scroll lock, which you don't need really, but would be kind of cool to have, I suppose, especially for caps lock. Like the GMMK Pro, you have these LED strips on the side that light up and sort of flash when you have caps lock on. I thought that was a clever solution. This doesn't have anything like that. Really, nothing else is coming to mind. I like this board. That's gonna make me look at some others now, because like every time I get another one of these boards this size, it makes me realize, oh, like there's a slight other thing I should be looking for in the future. But yeah, that's just like the never-ending journey of these 75% keyboards. Oh yeah, and as for like that coiled cord that it came with, the Type-C to Type-C aviator cable or whatever it is, the detachable bit, it just puts a big coily lump at the top. I don't see much point of that. I'm not a huge fan of the way that it looks. Like I put it on there, I'm like, well, that's silly, and then I took it right back off. So, like, it's one thing if you've got that on an IBM Model M, you know, the classic rubber coiled thing there, and you can stretch it out, and it serves a purpose and stuff, but just sitting there as a lump, I don't see it helping me, and I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks. All the stabilizers are fine. I was happy with the way they were lubed. Didn't have to modify them. No complaints, really. They're not amazing, but they don't get in the way. Unlike the GMMK Pro, when that came in, that thing had so much like sticky, gross lubrication in there that was like glue or something. And my keys were sticking down constantly. I had to go in there and take it out and then re-lube it with some other stuff. And then it was tolerable. Any of these keys that were stabilized, that was such a pain. This, perfectly fine, straight away, at least for my taste. Do I prefer this over the Pro? I don't know. They're both really close. Really, like, the only thing I super wish I could change was just moving these keys down a bit. Like, if that were the case and I had like a 5th extra key up here, I would like this better. All right, well, that's it. Once again, this was not sponsored or overseen in any way. Keychron just sent it over and said, hey, here's the thing we got. You want to look at it? And I said yes. That was as complicated as that got. So glad I have the opportunity to do that. Thanks to them for sending this over. And yeah, it's a cool keyboard. I like it. And that's pretty much all for this blurb. Thanks for watching.